For 4 years, Samantha Bee was a thorn in the side of the Trump administration, so you'd think she would miss the president. But no, she says Donald Trump losing the election was the best thing that ever happened to her show. I'll ask her why. But first, all the loved ones can do is wait and pray, and that prayer is coming in the form of a solemn beach ceremony with white roses and glow sticks. We're going to take you there. And the wall of the missing. It is hard not to remember the same images during 9/11. We've got the very latest on the Surfside condo collapse on Banfield tonight. Day 6, and hope is dimming. The families right now are doing the only thing they can do, and that is pray. And so many people in the Surfside community want to pray with them, and now they're getting a chance because they've been gathering on the beach in the dark for a vigil where white roses are handed out and glow sticks are given out to those who can attend. Volunteers doing that duty, hotels providing the roses. Our Dave Siegel reports from a dark scene on the Surfside beach.
Ashley, thank you. Forgive my lack of lighting, but it's a very dark scene here in more ways than one. I'm about 3 blocks north of the collapse site, outside the Four Seasons Hotel, where they've organized a memorial service on the beach. About 100 to 150 people have gathered. They're handing out these white roses and glow sticks so people can make their way to the ceremony. And they're raising some donations here as well. I'm going to give you a glimpse about what's going on the beach, but I'm not going to interrupt the ceremony with any commentary.
You can within yourself with each other and honor the beautiful community that we have together. And we thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your support. And we send our ultimate love and our condolences.
It is such a heartfelt moment for those who are not only waiting for news of their missing loved ones, but also the community that wants to do anything they can, but they feel so helpless. So prayer on the beach is about all they can do right now. At least they're all together. I want to give you some of the other big news of the day, and I want to start with this. There is an ex-Surfside official who has now chosen to take a leave of absence from a new job as Doral's temporary building official, and the reason that official, Rosendo Ross Prieto, has decided to take a leave of absence is because of a troubling 2018 report. That report was a review of the Champlain Tower South condo, and it was a troubling report. Let me read a couple of pieces of it that are so critical. The waterproofing below the pool deck and entrance drive, as well as all of the planter waterproofing, is beyond its useful life and therefore must all be completely removed and replaced. The failed waterproofing is causing major structural damage to the concrete structural slab below these areas. Failure to replace the waterproofing in the near future will cause the extent of the concrete deterioration to expand exponentially. I don't know if anything changed after that report, but I can tell you that that official told the residents that the building appeared to be in, quote, very good shape. And now that official is taking a leave of absence from a neighboring town of Doral. Also today, we learned that 3 million pounds of concrete has been removed, most of it pulverized. There is still falling debris, which makes the work still extremely dangerous for those volunteers and those workers who are on the pile. 440 state workers in all are assisting in all of this. They are looking into void spaces. Every time they come across them, they have not found any additional bodies. They say now they cannot and will not go back into the existing building because it is simply not safe. The Miami mayor said that 4 different balconies have been closed on a nearby building after an emergency inspection. We don't know which of those nearby buildings is being referred to. But the mayor also said there will likely be a grand jury investigation and that the state attorney plans to address this issue. Every day, twice a day, the family is briefed by officials as to what exactly is happening in that pile. Painstakingly, grid by grid, search by search, flashlights, hands digging, buckets, etc. Every day they're briefed twice a day. But this morning's 9:30 briefing was reportedly contentious. 210 rescue workers are on the scene, and as I said, no fatalities have been found. I want to remind you of what these family members are being shown and what they've been told in some earlier briefings. There's an easel at the front of the room that has a picture of the grid of the wreckage of the place that you're looking at rescuers on as a flat image, and it's divided up into a number of different quadrants. You can see it there. This is from the briefing on Saturday. If you count, you can see way off in the top right-hand corner, the numbers begin 1, 2, 3, 4. Then if you go vertically down, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again across the bottom, 9 parking and parking garage. The pool you can see in the far right-hand corner. In the middle, you can see 10, 11, 12. Critical to know this about this grid. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are still standing. Way out on the far right, 1, 2, 11, and 12 is a pile that only can be accessed by foot or by dogs, but not heavy machinery. Then you've got 3, 4, and 10, apparently where you can get heavy machinery. And the biggest expectation for a void was all along that long wall that's still standing, 5, 6, 7, and 8, where the debris meets the wall. That's where the officials thought there might be some of the most opportunity to find someone. They did say during one of these briefings that they're listening not for heartbeats, but for knocking, tapping, scratching, and moaning, that they've heard no voices, but that they are continuing to probe with sonars and cameras and infrared. Fires are making it difficult to use heat sensors. They've also likened the debris to 9/11, Oklahoma City, Haiti, and Mexico City, and they've assured the people in the room, the families, that many of the same teams that worked on those disasters are here. They also say they will not leave that pile for anything other than lightning. Lightning is the only thing that will take them off the pile. They say they'll stay there in 40-mile-an-hour winds. I want to bring in Glenn Corbett. He is a professor of fire science at John Jay College in New York, and he actually testified before Congress in the aftermath of 9/11. Mr. Corbett, thank you so much for being with us tonight, because I've read about you that your protocols also that you developed after 9/11 are being used currently in Miami. Can you tell me a little bit about what you've helped the rescuers and searchers in Miami to do in their work?
Well, thank you for having me, Ashley. Yes, I think one of the important things to talk about tonight is the fact that at the time of 9/11, I mean, most Americans thought that we had some type of federal capability to do a building disaster investigation, just like we do with airplanes, right? So the NTSB, everyone's familiar with that travels to every plane crash. Most Americans would have thought that we had something similar to that for dealing with building disasters. And of course, we know what happened was we had the 2 biggest buildings in recorded human history to collapse, and we didn't have that capability. We literally, unfortunately, threw at it, volunteers with limited time and money to do the work. So that led to, basically an upswell within several of the firefighter families of 9/11, particularly Sally Reaganhard, who took the initiative to create a group called the Skyscraper Safety Campaign, which actually led to congressional hearings in which they advocated for the creation of a building disaster investigation team, which actually happened in October of 2002. The National Construction Safety Team Act was passed and signed by President Bush. What that did is create an entity within the federal government, within an agency called the National Institute of Standards and Technology, to be deployed to major building disasters, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes, what have you, to study what happened, and most importantly, to figure out not only what happened, but make recommendations for the future.
So
and the
can I ask you, Mr. Corbett, can
yes.
I ask you to just take a look at the grid that the families are being shown? And
Sure,
maybe
sure.
I can get your professional information and your professional opinion of exactly what it is. Look, the families are being told the basics, what I just said about the basics. Grids
Right.
1, 2, 11, and 12, only feet and
Right.
dogs. Grids 3, 4, and 10, heavy machinery, voids along the long vertical wall of the building still standing, 5, 6, 7, 8. What don't I know about the grids I'm looking at that you might see?
Well, these, as you pointed out earlier, this grid was created to identify the conditions on the ground, right? So not the entire site is not exactly the same in terms of accessibility, perhaps the location for void spaces, things like that. So this is a typical and traditional way of approaching the search, right? We use grids all the time to sort of make sure that we cover all these areas. I think what this does for the families is helps them understand where the work is actually being done and what is taking place day to day in particular locations within the site. This is an organized way of approaching this as opposed to just throwing a lot of people in the pile and pulling things apart. This is a way that we can keep track of what has been done, what areas they may need to change from one methodology to another, those kind of things. So again, this is a standard approach to dealing with building collapses, particularly, but as searches as well. So.
Can I just ask you about this news, Mr. Corbett, about a possible grand jury investigation? It seems so early to be hearing that, but you would know better than I do about when you're dealing with search and rescue. There is also a potential criminal case coming down the pike, and some of what they're doing, of course, it is rescue right now, but some of it will eventually be extraordinarily important if there's a criminal prosecution.
There will be, but to be honest with you, I mean, I think, again, knowing that there's issues of accountability, I think that's where the grand jury comes in. What I was mentioning earlier about the National Construction Safety Team is a technical investigation, which will find out the root causes of why the buildings collapsed, and of course, making, again, recommendations for the future. So very often in a disaster site, these different types of investigations are taking place simultaneously. So in effect, they're going to have to work together to get access to the information that they're going to need. But again, this is for, it's important, again, for the families for accountability, but I would think the families also want to know exactly what happened here in terms of the way the building fell down, why did it fall down, and what can we do to change things for the future.
Mr. Corbett, your information has been invaluable, and thank you for the work that you've done from 9/11 right through till what we're seeing right now. Do appreciate your insight into what we're seeing as well with the grid that the families being shown. I want to also mention one other thing to our audience right now, and that is I spent a lot of time down at 9/11 at Ground Zero, 9 days straight after the buildings collapsed. One of the things I remember seeing profoundly was the memorial walls where the photos went up of the families. Something is different about this one, though. Yes, they are remarkably reminiscent, but there are some other pieces of information about this memorial wall that's going up that I think is very significant. You've probably seen the flowers that have been, placed alongside all the faces of the missing. But there's something else that's being placed there. In the meantime, I do want to go down back to Dave Siegel, who gave us a bit of a feel up close and personal for what this memorial wall shows us and tells us, and what the community is doing at that wall. Here's David.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm about a half block west of the collapse site where a makeshift memorial has been set up. You see the scores of people behind me lined up, really waiting their turn to pay their respects. If you take a closer look at the fence, each one of these pictures represents a different story of one of the residents of the Champlain condo complex. And even in some cases, they have the loved one's location narrowed down to their exact unit. We see here Richard Dick Augustine, last seen in unit 1210 on the 12th floor. Presumably his wife or partner is Elaine Savino, as she's also last seen unit 1210 on the 12th floor. So someone clearly very concerned for these people put these pictures up here waiting for some sort of miracle. Up here, in just something I can't even describe, seems to be a whole family that's gone missing. All I can make out is that it's the Kleinman family, and just the faces of obviously better times and the people waiting for news about their loved ones.
It's just so hard, Dave, to hear the floor and the condos that they were in. Something I want you to look at right now, though, earlier in the day. Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue. These officials, we found this on social media. Some people were there, paying their respects, and they saw these officials come over and place teddy bears and personal effects. And all I can tell you is what those who were there, the public taking these images, can say. They said that these were artifacts from the rubble itself. Don't know that to be true, but one of the teddy bears that we did see was covered in dust. And it was pretty remarkable to see the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue officials come to that wall in its early stages and place those items, whether they were actually from the rubble or not. They certainly care a lot about their jobs. It's not just about the fire and rescue. It's about the personal aspect as well. We thank them for their heroic work. All of this information that's coming in, look, we tell it to you on the news, but how is it being conveyed to the families? We're going to talk to Josh Spiegel. He's still waiting for answers about his missing mother, Judy. He's next. There are so many frightened people in South Florida right now who are reassessing the safety of their own buildings all along beachfronts and elsewhere. One man posted this to his social media, showing his parking garage and chunks of concrete, cracks, things that just look now uncomfortable where you may have not even taken notice of it before. Now it seems everyone's going into their parking garages and looking up and wondering, are we safe to live here? Not only that, but certain officials are even mandating assessments be done on buildings in Florida. Full assessments before anybody can continue living there. It is a very difficult time, not just for those people, but it is the most difficult time for the people who are waiting for news of their loved ones. I want to bring in Josh Spiegel. That's him with his mom, Judy. We spoke with his sister, Rachel, yesterday. Judy bought her condo just days after her granddaughter was born, Rachel's daughter. Why? Because Judy wanted to be closer to her children and grandchildren. Her son, Josh, joins me now. Josh, I know you just came from the briefing, and the families had, 2 briefings a day. Can you tell me what you learned?
So they're not telling us much information, but they are updating us enough on what the process is. I think since the Israeli Defense Forces came and really helped with the organization of the digging of the rubble, it's extremely helped. The images you showed earlier of the plot, the maps of the area have been updated severely, and they're really detailed now, thanks to the IDF. And while there's not much information, they told us one additional body was found, but that's about it.
They told you that one more body has been found? They told you this in today's afternoon briefing?
Yes.
Did they say anything more about that, Josh, as to maybe the identification process, the timing, the notification process?
So they don't tell us any of that. The notification is all done in person after they do DNA testing to make sure that they have correctly identified the victims. And in that sense, they have been doing an amazing job, because I think, as all of us well know, if someone found out before we did about our mom, we would be extremely angry.
And so far, Josh, has that been respected? Have you felt as though you've been briefed appropriately before the public is briefed?
Well, I wish we got more information, of course. But I think the initial organization of how the families got information was a little bit disorganized, but I think it's getting better. And like I said, of course I want more information, and I want to know where my mom is and to have her back. But I understand how complicated the process is and how they want to keep everyone safe, not just the people missing, but also the first responders.
Well, I can report to you, because I know there's a lot of different sources of information. People are on the move. I know you're on the move right now, that you and the other families were notified of that additional body being found today before the press conferences that told the public that the death toll had risen. I hope that you're going to get some resolution to this. Can you tell me, Josh, if the contentious nature of the morning briefing replicated in the afternoon briefing, is it still contentious in terms of how the public feels with regard to what the authorities are telling them?
Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the morning briefing because the Zoom link wasn't working for us. They had changed the number, and unfortunately, we didn't know that. So I don't know what that experience was, but everyone is fighting for their family members' lives just like we are. And it's completely understandable that everyone's on high alert, and we want answers. I mean, it's been now 6 days, and they've barely found anybody, and that's not reassuring.
Josh, I think I can speak for everyone on my team, and I think most of the people who are there around you in that community, when we wish you all of the best, and we give you our hearts and prayers and our thoughts for a positive resolution for your family. I also want to let our audience know for you, Josh, that anybody who wants to help donate to the Judy Spiegel Family Support Fund, they can find out more at the link at the bottom of our screen, which we've put up. We will keep you in our thoughts, Josh, and do check in with us if you learn anything new.
Yes, thank you so much. I want everyone to know that we started this fund to support my dad, and also various charities that my mom is extremely invested in. So please check it out, and please share and donate. Thank you so much.
Josh Spiegel, we'll speak with you again, I hope. We're going to reset right after the break. A hero to some, an annoyance to others, but when Samantha Bee gets you in her sights, watch out, because she will not hesitate to take the boots to you on her show, Full Frontal. For 5 years on TBS and another 12 on Comedy Central's Daily Show, she has been comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable, even when she had to do it from her own backyard during the pandemic. But now she is taking her show on the road, way down the road, all the way to Rwanda, of all places, and she's here to tell us all about it. Samantha Bee, welcome. It's good to see you.
It's really good to see you. Thank you for having me. I'm so delighted.
Well, I'm a huge fan, let's just say that. Even though you've taken the boots to me on your show, which I giggled all the way through, I'll have to tell you.
Okay.
I did not equate Rwanda with comedy. And when I heard you were going to Rwanda, I thought, okay, you need to explain this one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not the number one destination that you think of when you think of a comedy show, but definitely we felt like, because we've all been in this pandemic, and so as we were approaching the end, and we were thinking like, how can we expand the visual world of the show? Like, everybody's seen my backyard where we filmed for about 8 months, and we have our studio space, and that's all great, but we really had a desire to get out there and like film in the world. And so we literally started looking at lists of places that had the doors open to American travelers, like that you could actually.
That was a short list.
Pretty short list. Rwanda was on the list, as were many other countries, and then we just sort of started bashing around ideas for where we could go, where there was, like a kind of a robust. There was robust storytelling, and we settled on Rwanda. It was we got our visas. It all takes so many months to plan all this stuff, and we kind of like zoned in on 2 stories that we thought we could credibly tell that would be interesting and super, super visual. Like, everybody wants to go on a journey right now. Everybody wants to get out of their world, including us. And so we went on a safari to talk about conservation efforts in the country. And then we went to also a refugee center, because they do such a great job of accepting refugees there. And so we wanted to talk about that as well. So
if I were interviewing Anderson Cooper, I'd say, of course, all that makes perfect sense. But then I'm interviewing Samantha Bee, who's a comedian, and I'm sure that TBS is like, Sam, you want to go where? And we're going to pay for this, and you better be funny. How do you guys write this stuff? Like, how do you come up with something funny when you're doing issues on like rape and gun control and Rwanda?
Well, you first kind of whittle. You kind of like you hone into the story that you want to tell, and then you kind of like dig into the story, and then you broaden out to the comedy. You know what I mean? First you get the story straight, and then you start adding jokes. It's a really super weird process.
Yeah, I often would say, there you are. Oh, look at that drone shot. That's nice.
I know, isn't that pretty?
Look at Rwanda vision. So I want to play a clip of this in a second, but not before I ask you. I have always dreamt of like literally spending my days in the writer's room of The Daily Show or Full Frontal, just because I imagine that you guys just have the best time. But then again, I realize it must be work. Can you tell me like what it really is like in there when you're doing this creating?
pretty quiet, actually. Like, it's not like
Really?
actually before I got a job, because I worked at the Daily Show, as you mentioned, for many, many years. And when I got the job there, in that kind of transition period between getting the job and actually showing up, I was like, I'm sure it's like the apartment from Big. It's Tom Hanks's apartment where there's just like pinball machines and everybody's like shooting hoops and there's, you know what I mean? Like a real bullpen. But actually everybody is in their offices. It's really hard work. Everybody's got their computers. Everybody's working. And of course it's an excellent team, like a super bonded, everybody really gets along and is in a great groove together. Our head writers are just like so much fun to be around. But ultimately, we're all kind of nerds. So
it's amazing.
like,
I
you know
had
what I mean?
envisioned the thing that you just described, the ball hoop and the restroom
Sure.
and the place
Yeah.
where you get the Funyuns. You know, I had envisioned
Yeah.
all that. So to think of you guys as an insurance office just doesn't compute at all.
I know.
You know,
I know.
it's nuts.
Doesn't make any
You
sense
certainly
at all.
could work from home and still do the
Yeah.
show.
Totally.
Okay, let me run a clip. This is like a compilation clip from the upcoming Rwanda show. I'm going to ask you about it in a minute. Take a look.
Okay.
Giraffes, zebras, late night talk show hosts.
Welcome to Samantha Bee's Rwanda Vision.
On today's episode of Full Frontal, my vaccinated butt is in Rwanda, and man, is it nice to be outside of America. From Akagera National Park
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
to the bustling city of Kigali.
N'impunzi zaje ziduhungiraho.
I don't know what you said, but I can tell that you think Americans are crazy.
To the Gashora Refugee Center.
So there's the little nugget. If anybody who's watching right now hasn't seen Full Frontal, that's how you make it funny. It's with you and the way you react and the way your sensibilities kick in, because it's really what the rest of us are thinking, and we couldn't possibly say it out loud. So with regard to that whole Americans are crazy, yeah. Are people overseas now thinking we're crazier than ever because of what we've been seeing happen? I mean, there was January 6th. There was the how do you treat the pandemic? Should you wear a mask? Or, oh, don't because it's political. What are they saying over there?
Well, I mean, I don't know that in Rwanda they're paying that much attention, strangely, to what we're doing over here. But I will say that they are. But they are actually very dedicated to mask wearing. Vaccines were distributed. I mean, I think maybe a third of the population has their vaccines now, but the way that they have, because they just frankly ran out. I think that in America we actually probably owe them some vaccines. But anyway, that's a different story for a different time. But like they distribute them very equitably, and in the meantime, people are really so dutiful about wearing their masks. They socially distance still. Like they're so excited to get vaccinated. It's so funny to be in a place where, like, and you're talking to people, and they couldn't imagine not getting the vaccine. They couldn't imagine like having the choice not to get the vaccine, or why anyone would make that decision for themselves. It's good to get outside the country a little while every now and then and go, all right, the fact that we have so many people who abstain from a thing that could literally save their life it's a very Western thing.
It's a very bizarre thing. There's a lot of countries who are shocked that this has even become a political conversation. Isn't it a life-saving thing? And as it turns out, Sam, I don't know if you've been back, recently enough to know that a lot of most, I think, if not all, the recent deaths that were recorded, I think, in the last week or so have been unvaccinated people, which is, it's a tragedy, and it should be a beacon. Beep, 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 Hey, when we come back after the break, I do want to ask you a little bit about the change in administration, from Trump to Biden. Whether you love him or hate him, either one of those guys, there was a profound effect on comedy, and I want to know what the effect was on you. That's next with Samantha Bee. Back with the incredibly talented Samantha Bee from Full Frontal, just renewed for your 6th season at the beginning of the year, which in television is eons. I mean, to
Yes.
have that many seasons in a row is a big old deal. I attribute it to your Canadian roots. Before air, Samantha and I discovered that we went to rival universities, but that's okay. I still haven't her on. It's all good. She'll keep up. Well, we hope she'll keep up, right? You know. Okay, there's the dig. There's the dig of the show. Okay, so let's go back to the Trump thing. Trump is out, Biden's in. Everybody calls him boring. Everyone says, "Oh no, the news will fall away and the comedians will atrophy." What did you think?
I couldn't have been happier. Oh my God. I couldn't.
Personally
have
or
been
professionally?
happier. Personally and professionally, because let me tell you something. Like, Trump was funny when he was running for president, but the moment he became president, he became like precipitously less funny as time passed. And actually just like having, definitely it's a new reality. It's acclimatizing to a different kind of altitude. So maybe it took a minute or two to adjust. Maybe I would say once he got kicked off of social media, it took about 2 days for us to acclimatize to the new reality. And then was so much gratitude personally, and that is reflected in our professional worlds. We're having so much fun doing the show now. It feels like we can do more subject matter. We're not always tied so closely to the news cycle. It's a gift, I think, to shows like
Is there
mine.
another set of confines in the theory of cancel culture? Because we've interviewed a lot of comedians who are walking on eggshells, and they have different answers. I mean, Jay Leno says, change with the times, rewrite your material. Others say, are you kidding me? Comedy is the last bastion of commentary, and it should be free speech, and you should be able to poke fun at things that are touchy. But that's a really fine line to walk. Do you worry about it?
I don't really worry about it. I think we're guided by pretty solid voices. Like, we're a really great team of people. I think we have our finger on the pulse of what the world looks like now. We're always, we stay current. We try to reflect our values in a way that is very, very organic, and we like to be on the right side of history. And so it's not, it doesn't take a lot of effort for us to be right exactly where I think we need to be. And for sure, people take issue with our content all the time. That's just like, that's part of it.
I remember. Oh, man.
Oh,
I mean, the
yeah,
mob, Democrat or Republican alike, will come for you. They've come for me. They've come for anybody who's on TV or on the social medias.
Sure.
And I remember the Ivanka thing where you used the C word and you really, had a tough go. But you weathered it. Is there a secret to weathering the moments where all of a sudden they blow up and get, viral and crazy?
I don't think that there's a secret to it. I think it definitely is like, and I'm sure that you know this, and I'm sure that you have felt this, it is like walking across flaming hot coals. You are definitely, it is definitely transforms you on the other side. Hopefully the result is that you walk out stronger and more solid in the, solid in yourself. That's how I emerged from it. And also, I really don't engage with trolls. I feel like I'm very comfortable with my view. I'm very comfortable with the positions that the show takes. And so if people can criticize it, but I don't actually pay that much attention to it. I feel like if we stay, like if our moral compass stays directly where it needs to be, I think we're okay. Now. I don't know.
I'm glad you weathered that, because I'm always frustrated when people, disappear, especially after apologizing, because I thought that's really what we're all about as humans, recognize, okay, I'm sorry, I maybe went too far. I'm with you, I'm listening. And sadly, in this day and age, we're seeing people who apologize and it's not enough. And the mob is just like, there's just bloodlust, it seems,
It's very tempting to fully retreat. There's no question that you definitely feel like hiding in a cave, for the remainder of time. But hopefully, and it also helps that our network is very supportive of the show and really, truly loves the show. And so that is really a big, that's everything, really.
Okay, speaking of how important networks are and their big stars, Conan. Last show, gone, off the air. I wanted to get your thoughts.
I know. Well, like Conan is the best. He's done so much stuff for the show, and he's I mean, apart from show business and apart from his television show, which I think he's creating a new show at HBO Max. So if you love Conan, you won't probably be without him for too long, which is great. But apart from all of that, I always found conversations with him to be so calming. Because, you know, when you have a show and it has your name on it, it's, well, you know, I'm on your show right now. There's a level of responsibility and it can be overwhelming. And the whole thing can, you know, you feel like you're, not that you're working 24/7, but you're on alert 24/7 for all the things that can happen, and they happen behind the scenes. And you're always kind of like paddling beneath the surface a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I would have these great conversations with him at network parties or little events or anytime I could kind of catch his ear. And he always calmed me down so much. He just has been in this business forever. And of course, you know, his voice at The Simpsons revolutionized that show for me. So he has been just like such a power player in comedy. I can't.
My 14 and 15-year-old kids are like, oh, yeah, we're big fans of Conan. I'm like, I've never seen you watch television. So they're really big fans, and they're the next generation. Right. So it's pretty surprising. Totally. Okay, speaking of the things when you're pedaling beneath the surface, they're like, you got to go to break. When we come back after the break, I want to play this little game with you. It's a bit of a Rorschach test, but it's called First Impressions. So it's going to be fun. You're going to love it. Don't worry. You won't end up in the cancel culture. Okay. Back with Samantha Bee in a couple minutes. We're full frontal with Samantha Bee. At least she's usually full frontal. We're just temporarily full frontal. Okay, so we're going to do something called First Impressions. And we're going to show you a photo. And it's a little like a Rorschach test. You kind of have to just tell me the first thing that comes to mind when we show you the photo. Are you ready? It's going to be really fun. At least I think so.
Okay. All right.
So we'll start. So here it is, our First Impressions game.
Okay.
And I was expecting like some giant graphic, but there's your first impression. What comes to your mind?
Right. I feel calm. I feel like a calm wash over me. I feel
calm. Okay.
I do. I feel a sense of
you
know, I've had the opportunity to meet Vice President Kamala Harris a few times, and we had such good conversations, and so I feel a sense of calm. I'll be honest.
Okay. Here's the next one. We'll see if you get that same feeling or different. Ready and take.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I feel a little bit, it takes me back a little bit to the heart of the pandemic. You know, when I was turning to his briefings and I was turning to his face all the time out of desperation, wanting information. So I feel that's good.
I thought you were gonna blow out, get your vaccine, dang it, you know, but I see what you're saying. It takes you back in time as opposed to...
It takes me a little bit back in time. But you know what? Get your vaccine, dang it. Get it. You know what? You're exactly right. Please get it. Please get it.
Okay, this next one, ready and take.
Oh my God. Why am I being persecuted? This is triggering for me.
It's triggering for you. I thought you were going to say Cancun cruise.
Oh, you know what? I feel like you need to join Full Frontal. I feel like we need to switch. I want to switch shows. You guest host.
I'm telling you, I want to be in that writer's room, but I don't want to be in the insurance office. I want to be in the writer's room. Okay, here's the next one.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Take a look. Here it comes.
Oh, yes. Okay. This is complicated. I have complicated feelings right now. I'm called to mind this brutal divorce we're all going to be witnessing the fallout from. But I'm also, my attention is drawn to the topic of malaria and how much work Bill and Melinda Gates have done in the world of trying to eradicate malaria from the rest of the world.
And polio, right?
And polio, yeah. So, okay. All right.
Okay, next one. Ready?
So that's a complicated one. These. Okay.
Totally. No, you're doing great. I think these are very profound answers. You're thinking them through.
I'm having a very emotional reaction to all these photos. I'm not like immediately going to the snappiest thing. I'm just like letting it wash over me like a real Rorschach test. Okay.
Like a real Rorschach test. Okay, this next one, we'll see how you do on this one. Ready?
Okay.
And take.
Oh, it's Mittens Romney. There he is.
Mittens.
Oh, Mittens. Good old Mittens. Oh, boy. So.
Anything come to mind particularly?
Well, you know, I do feel like he was so lost during the Trump administration. So lost. He probably could have done more, but I appreciate the stances that he did take. So.
Talk about being complicated, right?
Very.
Okay,
Very.
this next one isn't necessarily funny, but it is
Okay.
thinky. Okay, so take a look at this next shot.
Okay. Oh, we did Brittany wrong. We all did Brittany wrong. We really did. We really
That's a good point.
owe her. We owe her. We owe her kindness and space, and we owe her. She took a lot of hits in popular culture.
As a kid, right? As a
a kid.
17-year-old. I think people forget she wasn't just your widget. She was a 17-year-old girl.
She was a
So
girl.
I
She was-
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one I think you're going to have some fun with just because there's so much news revolving around this feller. Okay, ready? And it's Matt Gaetz, everybody.
Oh my God. How can he possibly still be speaking out loud? If I was as at risk as Matt Gaetz is of criminal charge, as so much is going to rain down on that man's head, I would be so quiet. I would retreat from the spotlight and I would go and deal with my life
I'm with you.
in a private fashion. I just would
Listen,
be,
I'm not even political about him, but I do
Wow.
shows on crime and justice, and all I keep thinking is, where is your lawyer to tell you to stop talking? Because
Stop.
there is too much
I mean,
going on TV.
listen,
in a very,
I guess-
very, there's a lot of trepidation that should be valued here.
I guess he should, you know, from my point of view, because I do react to him politically as well. I guess I'm like, keep talking, but also, what are you thinking? You are getting some deeply bad advice, or you're just so egotistical that you refuse to take others' advice. So,
Or political.
I mean,
one of the two.
go with God, I
Hey,
guess.
I have seconds left, but I just want to ask you this one social media question because I love
Yes.
it. We had Chris Jericho on the show. He's from Winnipeg.
Okay.
You're from Toronto. And this, Jay Skinner asks, do you miss Canada?
I miss it. I really do miss it. Like my life is in the States. You know, my children were born here. Our life is here, but my entire family is across a closed border in Canada. And I got to tell you, when that border opens, I will be like a rocket ship across it because I miss my family so much.
I know. I haven't
Yes.
seen my family in 2 years because of it. And the border is opening. It's going to get a lot
It
better
is.
July 5th. So hopefully
can't
you and I
wait.
can, I said this to Chris Jericho, hopefully you and I can like hoist a Labatt's Blue or something north of the 49th parallel, maybe this summer.
It's my dream. It is my dream. Yeah.
Well,
be
listen,
in
good
the-
luck. I'm
Thank you.
so thrilled to have this time to talk to you. I had no idea we were even neighbors. That's even crazy. Full Frontal
Oh,
with
it's
Samantha
crazy.
Bee airs Wednesdays at 10:30 Eastern on TBS. Thanks, Samantha.
Thank you so much.